What's up, DBs? Let's take a look at some of the best one-on-one matchups from week 2 of the NFL season. AJ Terrell in the slot. I love his technique here. He's able to get the ball out last minute. What you want to notice is his stance. He's like 6'1", 6'2". Look how low he is in his stance. It's incredible. When you have the slot, you want to be outside leverage. Expect outside breaking routes, especially when they're this tight. The only other thing he can really run is a shallow or an over route. All right, so we want to widen him with a kick if we can, stay in front. But if we can affect them in any way, make them widen in any way, get a hand on them in any way, greatly enhances our ability to make a play. And then watch this. All right, so watch his right arm. You can tell that his right arm, his right forearm is over the receiver's left forearm. So watch, when the receiver tries to get both hands up to catch the ball, he can only go one. All right, so that's a veteran move. We got our forearm over his forearm. We're weighing it down. And then once we see him try to pick it up, that's when we got to get off the arm. And then he uses his same arm, the anchor arm, to play the hands. All right, so that's why the receiver wasn't able to get both hands on the ball. So we affect this well before that ball is even thrown. What I want people to focus on here is the power of your eyes. All right, so there's a lot of movement going on by the receiver, but what are you taught to watch and press? You're taught to watch the waist, the midline. Focus on this area right here, because the feet can lie, the hands can lie, the shoulders can lie, the head can lie. Look at all of this moving by the receiver. Head's moving, hands are moving, feet. If we're watching this midsection, out of all the movement happening, that's what's moving the least. So if you're really focusing on those hips, they pretty much stay in the same position. DB does a good job of staying patient, not getting sped up by all the movement. And the more movement you get up the line of scrimmage, the shorter the route. All right, he can't do all of these fakes and then run a deep route. So this should tell you short routes coming. Good eye discipline here. Great defense here by number 1. He's going to undercut this out-breaking route to perfection. Now, there's several ways you can guard the stack. You can either press the point, or you can designate I have 2, you have 1, like they do here. We do a good job of staying square, staying patient, maintaining inside leverage here. If you cross over, it's going to be harder for us to counter and get hands on the receiver. Even though there's space here, the fact that we stayed square, we have a longer frame, we're still able to catch the receiver here. Now we want to get eyes to the hip, and we want to maintain our leverage. When a receiver knows you're behind him, they're going to give some type of fake. So if he wants to get to the inside, he's going to fake out and go back in. If he wants to get to the outside and he knows you're inside, he knows he can't just turn and run towards the outside. He's got to give you something so he can create more separation. He's going to go in to out. We do a good job of anticipating that, staying patient to our leverage, and then undercutting the outbreaking route. Because we're hip to hip on the turn, we can go ahead and get our eyes back early, almost come up with a pick here. We have a small DB on a much bigger receiver. We're going to go with a motor technique down here on the goal line, and we're able to make a play on the fade. I'm not the biggest fan of motoring down here, because you want to take away space down here. But I will say that I like that we do not go for the inside fake. So down here, you're either going to get a slant or you're going to get a fade. If you take one step towards your leverage, so we're inside leverage trying to body the slant. If this DB goes for that inside nod in any way, we're going to be a step behind and we don't recover. Because we trust why we're inside leverage because if he runs that route, our body's there, we'll make that play. We're inside leverage and we take a step to our leverage. Now that's a completely free release. That's going to be a touchdown. So I love the patience here. I'd probably be off and look to play some type of catch, but good technique, good patience here. We don't go for the move. We want to get to his chest before he gets to the goal line. Check, hands out, eyes up, make a play on the ball. It's a tight split, and he's going to do something that I don't really like, and I don't know if it's being taught or if it's just natural. Watch right here. We're not in phase, meaning the receiver has a step on us. There's space between us and the receiver. You see how he's reaching, 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 reaching. I wouldn't teach this, especially to a young corner. I always tell my guys, hey, if you were going to run a race, all right, because we're in a race to close space. If you're in a race, would you get there faster running with both arms pumping, or with one arm pumping and one arm just hanging out there reaching for air? I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to pull himself in phase, but a good receiver is going to slowly widen away from that hand. He's not going to let you get that hand. We're swiping at air, and we never actually close that space. Close the space. Once you get close enough to club and grab yourself into phase and pull yourself into phase, then do that. But I think we do it too early. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 attempts to close space, and we never make up that distance. Great defense here by the Bears. We're going to take a look at this side of the field. They're going to press the point versus the stack look. So this DB is going to be on the line of scrimmage, and this DB is going to be slightly off. You have to be at different levels or else you're going to get picked down here. I'm not a huge fan of playing in and out coverage because most of these stack wide receiver looks are designed to beat those coverages. I like just playing things straight up. So basically, both of these guys are going to have inside low help, whether it's by the safety or whether it's by the linebacker. So you can call this one hole coverage. On the release, we step outside, number 27, the low corner, and then we get to the outside hip here. Now, look at all this space inside, but that is not where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be outside leverage in one hole because we're depending on our low hole help to be where he's supposed to be. So we do a good job taking away the outside here, not getting greedy. Usually you would slice underneath this, but look at our low hole help. Number 22 showing up, doing his job, right? Great bracket down here. I like the technique by the corner here. Whenever you get this kind of angled release, when the receiver is not looking back for the ball, he's almost always going to whip back inside. If he's running in this direction, just staring into no man's land, we need to do what the DB's doing here. Shuffle, 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 stay square. Don't get too high, anticipate the whip, and then body the inside breaking route. Like I said, we have one hole coverage, so you want to be outside leverage. So we have outside shade, and then this DB does a good job of trusting that his help is going to show up on the inside breaking route. So on the inside nod, we don't jump. We anchor down, trust the call, trust our help, trust that we are responsible for the outside. No need to jump inside. And then when we do get the receiver that releases outside, we're there to jump them. I like the footwork. I like the technique, but you got to be aware of what the Seahawks are being taught. I tuned into one of their practices, and they're always taught to be in a lead position. So their coach wants them to be in this position when they're on top of the fade. What I would say here is that when you're in the boundary like this, and in the day and age of the back shoulder fade, I would keep my eyes to the receiver just a little longer. I would say when you get these outside releases, you should be thinking stop route right about here. You should be thinking comeback at 15 yards. We're right at 15 yards right here, which is when he gets his head back. I would say we got to judge the receiver's speed. Is he really trying to fight upfield, or is he kind of shutting it down early, or is he kind of starting to jog a little bit? This could tell you that he's anticipating the back shoulder fade. And whenever you're on top like this, a good quarterback receiver duo is automatically going to throw that back shoulder. So my suggestion is just keep your eyes here a little longer. I would say 16 to 17 yards. It's more of a feel thing, and then you'll be able to play this back shoulder more efficiently. Stop route, come back shoulder, those are all balls are going to be delivered here. The one ball that's going to be delivered up top is the fade, and if we're already on top, that's really not what we have to worry about here. I would keep my eyes back a little bit longer to possibly help us out on this back shoulder.